No, I mean,
Oh.
trying to get to the,
I'm gonna get the
What we do,
record.
call to order, right?
Yep.
We have to do anything for that?
Nope, you just call it to order.
Approval of minutes.
I'll second that.
who said the first one? I missed it. Or was Rick the first?
No, we don't have a motion yet. We just need one.
Everybody muted up there.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we got Steve.
Yeah.
Rick, thanks, Rick.
We have visitors.
We do, we just need to vote on the minutes, so if we can,
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
all in favor.
All in favor, minutes.
Aye.
There we go. That's the,
My rookies.
Aye.
no problem. Yes, so we do have, Mr. Chair, Jenny Donaldson from Webster Arts, who is up on the screen here, and I'm gonna spotlight her for everyone so that everyone can see you, Jenny, in big screen.
I don't know if I want everybody to see me on the big screen.
Jenny's made a special events permit application. Some of the events I don't think are in Old Orchard, but some are very near or in. So instead of waiting until the permit's fully in, we thought we'd have Jenny come in early and talk about what Webster Arts is looking at doing for some fall, winter events, if I'm correct, Jenny? So.
Yeah, and it's just one in Old Orchard.
Okay.
Some of you may be familiar with, in August, we did what we called a Gazebo Artist Market in Gazebo Park, and we had about 15 to 20 artists on Saturday nights come set up a tent and sell art, and then we had a band. We got a lot of positive feedback from the community and the artists, and so we wanted to try it again. Even though it might be chilly, we're going to try a winter market in December on Sunday, December 5th. This time it'll be during the day, just so it's not as cold, 12 to 4. We won't be shutting down the street by Old Orchard. We would just be closing one set of parking lanes closest to the park. So like he said, I'm turning in the permit, so I think I need your permission to do it. And the second thing I wanted to ask is, when we did the artist markets in August, we had several people like going to restaurants afterwards or going to restaurants before and kind of hanging around the area. So we thought it might be nice if, you know, we could work together with some of the local businesses if you had, I don't know, some sort of special going on or a sale or whatever that we could promote along with our market and try to get more people there, or to stick around to shop at the local businesses.
So, Mr. Chair, this is obviously, we always bring special event permits to the Old Orchard, to the district if they're in that. So just your agreement with the concept. And then from there, Jenny, it's, you can work with the businesses in that area directly. You don't have to come through the city in any way. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there'd be any objections, so I'm all for it. I love having all the traffic down there. It's great.
Okay.
Just turn the numbers and see if there's anything.
Anybody else have any
Thoughts or?
thoughts or anything against that? Probably.
This is Angel. I think it's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
good.
yeah. And then Jenny, if you want to just, like you said, if you want to touch base, I'm at whoever's front row. So I know John Barr would probably be interested in doing some things. So,
Okay.
so we can,
Okay. Yeah. So I'll try to find people's email addresses and work that way.
okay.
But
What day would it be on?
yeah, we're doing Sunday, December 5th.
Okay.
From noon to 4. On Saturday, we did it on Saturdays before, but they have the park for the Santa race. So we thought we'd try a Sunday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Old business.
Jenny, thank you, by the way.
Thanks, Jenny.
All right. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Have a good day.
Good.
Streetscape, huh?
Streetscape update. Is that you?
How's everyone? Yes, how's everyone doing with their new sidewalks coming in? So we are slowly, the original estimation was 3 days from now. I think as I drove by this morning, we're not looking like 3 days from now. So end of October is our project plan for the streetscape and the sidewalks, I should say, in Old Orchard. So that is the update I have. Unfortunately, our public works director has been out for a couple days, so I was not able to get any other update on other items, but I'm happy to answer questions as best as I can. So, or if there's something specific that folks wanted to know.
think Alan's probably the only one being affected by that. And she's not here. All right. Gazebo series feedback.
We had turned to Fran on this and the members, obviously. See,
Well, it turned out to be, for me, I thought it was the best series so far. We got great support, thanks to Fran going door to door, support like we've never had before. One thing we needed, we're gonna have a follow-up meeting, which I'm not sure what happened with that, but I mean, I didn't respond, sorry.
It's all your fault.
Yeah. But we're gonna talk about different things, and possibly moving dates a little bit later in the summer to fall, possibly. And then after that, pretty much thought it was a great series. Anybody else?
I just want to commend you all for the amount of fundraising that got done. So Fran, excellent job.
Yeah, that was Fran all day.
You're welcome. My update for that is I do have two outstanding that want to use PayPal, so if we can get that, they're just waiting.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back to the Secretary of State or whatever it's. Get us
I
back
know it's not a
approved.
fast thing.
Yeah, I keep looking for some kind of response from them, but I really don't know where else to go until I get a response back saying, yeah, you've been reinstated, like our business entity
Right.
was not set up, so.
And then
As
I've
soon as I
got,
get that, I'll dig back through some emails, like looking at it and looking for it.
okay. And then I have three outstanding ones that I'm just gonna have to show up and
See if
have
you-
them stand there until they write me a check. But we'll still get it.
Okay.
I'm not worried that they're welching out. I think it's just a question of, you know,
Right, just not getting around to it.
I wouldn't be surprised if the check is dated like a month ago and they just haven't, you know, put it in the mail kind of thing.
And I haven't done anything on the bank accounts to see where we are. I've got all the checks are deposited and everything's been paid out. I just, I'll have to do a final accounting. That's not my number one best thing to do. I should have taken 2 steps back when they handed that checkbook out. But I know we're in good shape financially and we may even be able to pay a little more next year for, you know, if we want to. We had great bands that some of them that we haven't used before are usually a little more expensive. So with the extra funds, we might be able to even step that up even more next year.
Mr. Chair, just for the members, unlike Jazz Fest, the Gazebo series doesn't run on the city book. So you have your own independent checkbook that the chair is talking about. So just so you all know.
Anything else on the Gazebo series? Fran, how about a trick or treat update?
So far, we have 11 that have committed to participating. Their date to get back to me is tomorrow.
Put me down, would you?
All right.
Got that email. I just didn't respond. We're down with
Once I have the list, Mara has agreed to update the map.
it. Okay,
The software that she uses, Holland's person doesn't have access to.
Hmm.
So Mara said she would just, we send her the
Yeah, the
list, she'd upgrade it.
okay.
And, you know, a lot of it are repeat, but some of them are new, because we have new businesses.
Mhm.
So Weber's.
Fran, this is Abby. The boulevard's on that, correct?
Yes, they are.
List? Oh, good, because I got a ton of candy, so I'm like, I think I said
Yeah.
yes.
And your neighbor, our close by neighbor, Fire and Faucet, and so that's a new one. They're
Oh.
on there.
What's it called?
Fire and Faucet, it's a jewelry store.
Oh, okay.
Right there, it's in the DeSoto building.
Oh, okay.
It's in part of the part that was Gymboree.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool.
But the gas station, they really got into it last time,
Oh, good.
so.
Oh.
And then, so when we get the map printed, I'll deliver them along with the posters to everybody that's participating.
And what was the day again? Saturday?
Saturday, the 30th, from 3 to 5.
Fran, it's Angel. We won't be doing it. Never sure what people could walk into. in the lobby.
Okay.
About dog treats.
There you go.
I'd love to do that. I would really love to do that, but unfortunately, you never know what's going to be coming in.
That's true.
All right. Anything else on trick or treat?
So,
Holiday plans. Santa's mailbox, we just asked for that or?
Yeah, so Parks and Rec has it. We'll make sure it's in good working order. Mara provided me a key, so I have a key to Santa's mailbox, so we'll make sure to get everyone's letters out. We did have, I want to bring up, Old Webster was the trade association, I believe, correct?
Correct.
So was going to reach out, Bob. I don't know if they have, so let me just put it on the table. They're looking to borrow the mailbox before we would install it in Old Orchard on the 14th of November, I believe it is.
yeah,
For
but during their open house.
so it's an Old Orchard item, so we wanted to, look to you all. I don't think there'd be any problem with that, but I wanted to put it on the table, so.
Yeah, that mattered to me. I guess Webster, I mean, the city will move it up to that.
Yeah, we'll take care of getting it. It's just
Yeah, that's fine.
okay.
for me.
So other than that, we'll have it out and ready when you want it out and ready. And is that normally during the tree lighting, when being my first holiday season in this town, so.
We usually put it in the gazebo.
Yep.
On the Monday after Thanksgiving.
Monday after Thanksgiving, okay?
And I did, Mara confirmed that with the Parks and Rec for me, because I did put that, I added that in the ad, the post
Sure.
ad for
Yeah.
gazebo series. I don't know if you saw the little blurb at the bottom. The one that
Okay.
was just out,
Yeah, I did not, I glanced through that, but I didn't see.
We will get it in there.
so
And then when is the tree lighting? Do we have a date for that yet?
no, we talked about trying to do it like the first Saturday of December, because that's usually when Santa's on the run is in the morning.
Uh-huh.
It's just one more thing on that same day, even though they're opposite times of the day. That's normally, but you could do it whenever you wanted.
Do it then or do it the next day during the art thing? I mean, more people might be doing.
Not a
this.
bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Of course, now they won't be there when it's dark, but it could be like when they close it, then you can turn it on.
Yeah, it's gotta be dark almost, right?
The only thing we need to make sure is that, the Parks and Rec put the lights in it.
Right. So we just need a date so we can backdate into that installation, so.
I like your idea of doing it
Sunday,
on the Sunday.
I might give some other reason for people to come down there.
Sure.
Instead of,
I think that's an excellent idea.
all right, well, let's put it for Sunday, December 5th, if anybody has any other ideas. All right,
That's anything.
all right, new business.
Douglas Hill, so I'll kick this off. I think you all received an email that I asked Fran to send in relation to Douglas Hill. The project is now in front of the city council in its consideration of the zoning portion of the project. And the city council has told boards and commissions, yourselves included, that if you have any comments, support, concerns, questions, such, to have those into the city council by the, excuse me, Friday, the 12th, I believe it's the 12th of November, that week, that Friday. So that aligns with the TIF commission, sort of the last of the remaining, commissions that are required to act on this project. So we wanted to make sure to have the opportunity for you to ask questions if there are any, hear from the development team. This is on the agenda. Obviously, the project itself is co-located to the Old Webster Business District, but it does affect the entirety of the whole city, the business climate of the city and such. So I wanted to bring this on the agenda so you can ask questions of staff. We do have Mr. Chapman and then Joel Oliver and Liz Austin from the SG Collaborative team with us today to ask questions of the developers. And Mr. Chair, if it's good for you, I think, Larry, if you wish, we'll have you guys make just a little statement or.
I'll do a quickie little statement. Again, my name's Larry Chapman. I'm the CEO of Seneca, which is the S and the SG Collaborative, and then Liz and Mr. Oliver over there are both with Green Street. They're the G and SG Collaborative, so you know where that came from. It's a partnership between Seneca and Green Street. All three of us are longtime Webster residents. I raised my kids here, and so it's a great place to be, and I know that. And when the city went out and asked developers to make a proposal on this area, we wrote a proposal and we were selected. Now, it's been almost 2 years since that happened. I guess it was February of 20. And we've just systematically went about a process where we held a bunch of town hall meetings It's a little challenging during COVID, but we did it virtually and got pretty good turnout, and we collected information, and then we rolled out a plan last September of what we thought we heard and what we needed to actually have a feasible project. And since then, we've been, advancing the ball. We finally have gotten in front of city council for zoning. We're going down the road on a tax increment financing plan. And then there's quite a few other things to negotiate. The biggest, most important of which is what they call a redevelopment agreement. It's the agreement where the city tells us what they got to have, and we tell them what we need to have, and we actually memorialize that in writing, and it becomes an agreement that as long as we do our job, it's okay, and as long as we deliver on our promises, we get to keep doing what we're doing. So that's a general overview. I'll tell you, I live right over on Rock Hill Road. I've walked the site more times than I can count, and there's a number of things that we've heard that we've addressed. I would say that first and foremost, the thing that really kind of sinks in on me is that if you think about Webster Groves, and I've lived here about 30 years now, that it hasn't seen a lot of growth. It hasn't seen a lot of new development. Seen some. I happen to be the chair of the TIF commission when we did the office building over here that is 20 Allen Avenue, and we've seen some things happen, but it really hasn't taken off. And in the process of educating ourselves, and actually Joel came across this with some statistical things about sort of the life and growth pattern of Webster Groves. It started at, sorry, I meant to turn that off. My apologies.
While Larry's turning that off, we do have a file in the chat. So members, if you open the chat up,
Oh,
you may be getting some information in the chat.
great. Okay. Anyway, one of the things we noticed is that, Webster went through its own boom time from 1900 to 1960. It grew 4.5% a year. It went from 2,500 people to 29,000 people. And if you drive around town, you look at the age of the buildings, and most of the gemstone buildings and things we all do business in now were built during that time, during its boom years. Then something happened between 1960 and 1980. One of the things I finally realized as I did a little research was Interstate 44 came through town and took a big chunk out, but we dropped from 29,000 to under 23,000, and we've stayed that way forever. And one of the things I've heard my neighbors say and others say, why does it cost so much to live here? Taxes keep going up, things like that. Well, kind of the bottom line is that the number of people haven't changed in 40 years, but the cost to do business just goes up. The cost to run a city, things like that. And so we need to find growth in a couple of ways. And we're really looking at it in terms of we need more people here to support our local business and contribute to the community. And we need to find a way to attract people to come into Webster and spend their money, which we think is really important. And so we focused on a plan that not only has room for new people to move here. We think about 1,500 the way the plan is set up today, but we also have lots of public spaces, amenity spaces, and things like that. We hope will bring people from out of Webster into Webster. And once they come in, they'll explore. They'll do all kinds of things. I think it could be really, really great for all of us to improve our businesses. So that's kind of the overview. We can go into details. I didn't bring lots of drawings and plans. We can get those to you if you like, but just wanted to sit here and answer your questions. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a fairly significant group. I don't know if it's a lot of people, but who are very negative and finding ways to say things that we're not in agreement with, but it's out there. So Liz, you got anything you want to say, Joel?
No, I just add, as Eric mentioned, I put both our most recent presentation from SG Collaborative to the Webster Grove City Council, in addition to Eric's presentation. Eric did a really great job of explaining what is TIF, how it is used, and then the benefits to the city. So, if you have any questions about that, Eric would be your source, but I wanted to make sure you guys were able to see both of those.
That's on the Douglas Hill website, right?
Yes, and it's also, I just put both of those presentations in the chat feature. And I'm more than happy to follow up with Eric after we can send an email out to all of you, so you have both of those.
Hey, Liz, can you also put a link to the new website in the chat for people?
Sure,
There's a
I'll
lot
do
of
that right
information
now.
there too.
And then Joel's involvement is he's really spearheading the workforce housing component of this, as well as just general development, but it's really been his his work on that that's allowed us to make the commitment to do 10% of the units we build as workforce housing. And so you all know what that means. It's basically, we said, okay, if someone wanted to work in Webster and live in Webster, what would that look like? So we took a new teacher out of the Webster Grove School District and said, okay, if that person wanted to live here, what would we have to charge in terms of rent to do that? And so we'll have units in the apartments that'll do that. We're also exploring options outside the footprint of the development to help with some ownership as well. Anybody have any questions?
Where are you with eminent domain with some of those businesses or?
So eminent domains, we're not, first of all, it's really important that you understand. Eminent domain is a tool that's in TIF, like any other thing is a tool, okay? And eminent domain is not something we'll have the right to use. If the city wants to use it, they can, but we need to have the mechanism in there in order to acquire these properties in a way that works for the businesses, for the property owners. And here's why. If I went and bought somebody's property without that in the TIF statute, in the TIF ordinance, they would have 180 days to find another property and to buy another property, which is not enough time in today's world. If that's in the ordinance, not used, but in the ordinance, they not only have the remainder of the calendar year in which we buy it, but 2 full years after that to find a replacement property without having to pay taxes. And they can use the money in the meantime, doesn't have to sit in an escrow account. It's called a 1033 exchange. And when I'm dealing with these people who are investors, they want the flexibility of having that. Without it, you can't do that. And it's also important to say, even if it's in the ordinance, I can't just say, city, we're going to do that. It's up to the city whether to do it or not. And we're not going to need it. When we have these tools in place, it gives us the flexibility to negotiate with people, to give them a super fair and frankly, more than their property would be worth if they hung a shingle on it. It should work fine.
And I just want to come back to, it's a very important point Larry said, because as we deal with misinformation, and the city's obviously neutral in this in a regard, but eminent domain is not a power granted to the developer. It is a power that the city holds. So I just want to make sure, as we hear the boogeymans go around, that we are very clear about who retains that power if it is to be exercised. So,
And truthfully, if you drill down on it, the city has that power today. They don't need
Absolutely.
tip. They can just go do it anytime they wanted to.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And then, and this is, because I'm receiving some of the misinformation
Right,
and just the scope of things and the floodplain.
so the floodplain thing is the most baffling thing that we deal with every day. So we've had our civil engineer write about it. We've done a little video with him. He's on our website. We're gonna have him write another little letter, which we're responding to a question, but here are the facts. We're gonna make improvements to Shady Creek. Those improvements are going to result in a lowering of the flood elevation. Number one. Number two, all of the redevelopment area right now has zero stormwater management in it. So when the rain hits the ground, it goes right into Shady Creek.
We see that.
Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna catch all that rain 2 ways. We're gonna put it under the street in chambers and trickle it out after the storm event's over. And we're gonna have green roofs that hold it up there and make water quality. So we're gonna store the first 1.5 inches of rain up there. And so we're actually going to improve the flooding condition, not go away. We can't make it go away. There's a lot of upstream water, but we're gonna improve it. And it's really an engineering calculation and a math problem. It's not your gut, it's not your emotions. And I don't know any other way to explain it, but that's a fact. And when we're done, we'll actually change the floodplain maps to prove it.
if we can ask on that, and to the Old Orchard community and flooding issues, you see obviously downstream from Shady Creek is into Deer Creek, and so it's going up and back and around and such. And that, now I'm just curious, this isn't about Douglas Hill, this is about your daily lives. Is that getting to you all in any way? I mean, I would imagine it's far enough away that you're not seeing water table issues or any issues in the district. Okay.
No, it's, yeah.
Because obviously if you're not very familiar, there's a misnomer. Some people think it flows the other way. Like we've gotten a couple that it's going upstream to Oak, and I'm like, no, it's going the opposite way, folks. So just making sure we all have.
Oh, yeah,
clear
because
reference.
when you see the water, like
Backing
the
up.
flood,
Yeah.
it looks like it's going the other.
It looks like it's going up to Oak and towards the park, but in fact,
Oh, okay.
it's rolling towards Deer Creek and
The biggest problem you have with water going into Kirkham right now is if you got out and went down and walked Shady Creek, when you go under Gore, it's a nice big box, all of a sudden it pinches down to a small opening, goes back up again. It's that pinch down that needs to be replaced. So the water can stay in the channel that it was designed to stay in. Anyway.
Well, that clears up some of the things I've just been reading about, and so that helps. Anybody else have any other things they want to add to this? Or is there?
Questions, folks?
I think, I just want to say one more thing. I mean, I've got a number of different kinds of projects. I think one of the things we want to do in our public spaces and pedestrian areas is promote all of Webster Groves, and I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities to talk about Webster Groves, its history, where to go, point people around. We want people to visit all of it. If we can make our economic health better than it is, we all benefit. It gives us flexibility to do all kinds of things. And I know that's an important objective for us. I think it's an important objective for the city and their planning efforts. And I think this is an opportunity to kick off something that could result in more redevelopment, which I hope it does here, Old Orchard, everywhere.
And as far as timing, the next opportunity for public comment will be on Tuesday, October 19th at the city council meeting. So we are encouraging for everyone who is in support of the development to let the council know that you are in favor. As you can imagine, the very active minority against the project have been very vocal. And so we need as many people that are in support of the project to let the council know. So you can either email the council, or we would encourage anyone who has the time to show up that evening and let them know.
And we'll share all of our contact information with your organization, and you can reach out to us anytime. Don't hesitate to do that. We're happy to take calls. We're happy to respond. We have enough people on the team to help do that. And we'll send you the answers to any questions that you have.
All right.
So just to put a cap on this, Mr. Chairman and members, so we do have on the city website, so obviously you've seen the Douglas Hill page that from SG Collaborative in the chat. We'll send all this information out. We've got it, Liz, so we can get it out to the members as well. Also on our page, we have questions that council members have asked, very specific, like the floodplain issues, traffic issues and such. Answers developed by both the developer and from city staff perspective. A couple things, while we are certainly as staff, this is a neutral application for us. We respond to it neutrally. There are factual things that we can say. One of them is, we have not seen the potential for a business development opportunity like this in the city in some time. This is a lot of people that come in that, start spending money in the exchange of a consumer economy and such. So we certainly know there is a revenue impact. How is that revenue made? That revenue is made by people spending at businesses in the community and such, and also the property values that go along with it. So that's a factual statement that we're excited about, but at the same point, this is goes through its process here and to be part of our community. So we'll keep working through that. We'll have this on the agenda next month, just if there's any follow-up comments, because you do have another meeting before that deadline. If there is anything that the group here wants to opine on or ask about and such. And I want to close with, because I had this question asked by one of the Crossroads members about the TIF process and its impact on you as a business district and such. And I want to be very clear about TIF. TIF will not, if the city puts in a TIF for this project, does not change your tax structure, your tax rates. It doesn't change anything about the taxation that the city or any other taxing district does in your area. The TIF is about the district that is drawn for the TIF itself, obviously the Douglas Hill redevelopment. So nothing has changed in your regard. In fact, in my professional opinion, as I told the council, TIF is a very risk-free option for the city in regards to how TIF works. And so that's a real potential tool for us. So that you'll see that in the presentation. I don't want to belabor it, but I want to make sure to just give you some points as you hear from folks in the community and such. TIF can be confusing if you haven't done it before. So.
One last question, is it do or die, all in or out, or what's the council gonna decide, like, yes, it's all go, or no, we don't do anything?
Well, this council can do whatever the council wants to do. We've told them what we absolutely have to have a financially feasible project. And so if we're not able to get there, we won't go forward because we wouldn't make any money. In fact, we would lose a lot of money. And so, that's just again, I hate to say it, a math problem. We're already at the lower end of the economic spectrum, but we're all doing this for reasons that go far beyond just a project to do. We all have a lot of history here, and we think it's the right thing to do for the community. Plus, we're going to do this from a long-term perspective. Both Phil and I made the commitment to each other to stay in this project for the long term. Now, he's 70 and I'm 65. I mean, I don't know how long it'll be before I get hit by a bus or something bad happens, but for as long as we can imagine, we expect to be here. And I hopefully will live there.
All right, well, that answers some of my questions.
And the one final thing that I popped into my mind is obviously, as we started, this is located near Old Webster, but these kinds of questions and issues are going to come to Old Orchard, especially with the Subaru plot and potential other redevelopments, other spaces in that area that could be ripe for tear down rebuilds or reconstructions, all those things. So these kinds of issues, the massing of people are development and planning questions that will affect your business district as well. So for you, this is a wonderful test run, right? To sort of see how things work and also to realize, if that is a value to bring more customers into your immediate concept area, your immediate area and into the district, that is, these are the kinds of things that will be coming up in the future that will have to be. And I think of the Subaru dealership as, sort of prima facie evidence number one on that, so.
There's huge opportunity in the Old Orchard area to do some things there. It is there's an amazing opportunity there.
Anything besides banks and retirement homes.
Well, for lots of reasons. You need things that gin up economic activity is what you really need. And economic activity is really two things, and I'll say three. It's people, it's consumer businesses where the experience happened, restaurants, soft goods stores, stuff like that. And it's just people. It's the energy of people that you only get in that kind of, it's the experience economy is what we're trying to create. It's what people want to do. And there's super good opportunity to do that all over Webster.
Right. All right, well, anything else on that? Anybody have any other input?
Thank you for the time. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys for your time. It clears some
Thank
things
you.
up.
Thanks, Joel.
Good. All right, let's move on to BDC update.
BDC update, our biggest item for BDC, obviously, they'll be discussing Douglas Hill this month as well, the Business Development Commission. And then on November 4th, you're going to get, hopefully today, the survey will be done. November 4th, we're going to host, I don't want to say our first annual because I'm sure the city's done this before, but our first annual since I've been here. Business roundtable on a Thursday morning. This is an opportunity. It's going to go to every licensed business in the city of Webster Grove and the people that do business with the city, contractors, things like that. And it's really, want to be clear, the BDC is hosting this. This is a time for us at the city, not to defend, but to listen. What does the business community need? What are we standing in the way of from a city perspective? What are other factors that are, affecting your business? Is it workforce? Great. Let's put that on the table so the city can start to identify how do we work with that. We obviously have some American Rescue Plan funding. That's the big package of money that was passed early by the federal government this year. And so business and economic impact from COVID is an eligible use for those funds. And so we're doing some listening before we do some planning and expending of those funds. So it will be at Webster U at the East Academic Building. We've booked that and parking at the big garage there so that we can have some tabletop conversations with folks and again do listening. The BDC will be hosting. I'm literally not even me talking. It's going to be the BDC leading this so that folks can be as critical as they wish, be supportive as they wish. And so really to find out what can we do to help and what can we do to improve our business climate for those here in Webster Groves.
What was that date and time again?
Thursday, November 4th, 8:30 to 10 at the East Academic Building at Webster. Again, you all get this invitation, and there will be a survey if you cannot come that we're going to send everyone who gets invited. So to help gather some quantitative and qualitative data from that as well.
Great.
So you guys will be sending out an email to all of us with that
Yes.
information on this so we can attend.
Yes, we will,
Perfect.
Abby.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. City update, Eric?
Well, lots of things. Mara always sends me the list of all the businesses, so I'll run through these. We've got some openings and moving arounds going on. Book Go, the not-for-profit at 46 West Lockwood, coming back into Webster. Union Studio has moved the storefront to the west. Fourth and Home, where Union Studio used to be, is open. I think they've had their grand opening. I saw a whole million of people a week ago or so, or at least a soft opening, but it looked like they were operating. Field Theory at 8153 Big Bend is also open. Eurotrash, excuse me, that might have been the when I saw the grand opening. Yeah, that was it. So, yeah. Eurotrash at 126 West Lockwood is open. Wingstop is going into Yorkshire Plaza, as I mentioned last month. Betty's Books is coming into town. Amy's Cake Pop Shop is expanding their space. Union Bagels under construction. Zushi Sushi, I'm gonna get that right by the end of this permitting process, under construction down in Yorkshire. And Total Access Urgent Care, they've got their construction permits. You've obviously seen walls going up. A couple quick things. Douglas Hill, we mentioned this. The public hearing is open, so we will be taking public comment at the council meeting on the 19th of this month, next Tuesday. Here at the council, we'll make sure that agenda goes out to all the business districts in case folks are interested. But again, if you do wish to make any comment as the business district, you have until November to do so. So this would be if you want to speak individually or such, you can do so. And I fully anticipate the public hearing will be continued again to let people continue to email their items for the record and statements. Plan Commission was canceled this month. Next month, they will have a text amendment for tree and landscape ordinance. So some text changes to that ordinance, and then rezoning in Old Webster for a planned commercial with multifamily at 55 Moody. So again, back to those multifamily, planned commercial type districts that we're mentioning, potentially the Subarus, we're going to start seeing those pop up.
Is
So
that new construction on the?
that's a great question. I don't know. So I'll take a look at it and get you an answer. Other than that, we are continuing at the city to work through much of the Douglas Hill process. That has taken up a lot of our time, but there's many other things going on. We are preparing for winter as well. So starting to get plows ready to go.
All right. Next meeting set for November 9th. Motion for adjournment.
Could I
Motion to
say
adjourn.
something?
Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry.
This is kind of related to Angel. It's kind of related to all the growth and future growth. And I know John probably would be happy that I'm bringing this up, but I think as we're moving forward, the Murdoch, Big Bend, that whole key there, I think needs to, I'm going to put it out there to keep that in mind as things are progressing. It's only going to take me getting hit about one more time before.
Yeah, it's a super dangerous exchange there. Trying to come off of Old Orchard on there is just like shoot.
It's a tough intersection.
But you're coming from Old Orchard,
Yeah,
to turn left or right on the Big Bend. People park where you're not supposed to park. You can't see. You got to basically put your nose out in front.
And I know in the past, we've kind of discussed that traffic study in county doesn't really, think a stoplight or anything like that. But I even know that John has really been trying to push even right there at what's right there at Balkan. But I mean, I've almost gotten hit about 4 times, even in the middle of walking through. So as this is progressing and yay, sidewalks and fixing and growing down that end, and who knows what's going to happen at the Subaru or even they're building across. But it is a terrible intersection. It is a terrible intersection. So I think future wise, or put a bug in the ear that we do need to revisit that at some point in time.
Eric, do you know how we address the county for something like that? Like, I mean,
Yeah, so we obviously are doing this with Crossroads and their Streetscape and working on Big Bend, Elm and Big Bend, obviously, especially with kids crossing is an issue right now. So we could start to pull together a meeting on that. I think I'll be quite honest with you, Crossroads has been working on that for 10 years probably, Fran, I would guess. I mean, a long
Yeah,
time.
long time.
Now that adding the kids going to Hickson, that has elevated things.
Yeah.
But we can start those. I'm trying to set expectations. Start some preliminary meetings with the county. I would imagine it's going to take someone deciding to do a property change of some type to really get the move, moving on how to do that intersection. So,
Well, I can share, because the cleaners building has been purchased. And we are going to be looking at asking the county to change our entrance and exit at the practice to use more the cleaning property. And so I don't know if that's going to help with things or not, but I guess, and we've been already have kind of an architect trying to get in and have already kind of getting with the county about what we can and can't do, et cetera. So I don't know if that's going to help, but yeah, I'm glad to know that we can at least put it out on the table.
Absolutely, and that very much may help. So let me connect with our public works, and we can, if you wish, Bob, we'll pull together a preliminary meeting with the county and see where thoughts are at. And we obviously don't have a plan yet on our ends, whether from the
Right.
district or from the city. So, but we can start that conversation. If
Yeah,
that's
it should be.
Well,
It's a serious.
Yeah, as soon as we close then on the building and what were kind of thoughts, I can get with you and kind of, because I know that our architect kind of popped in and said, hey, this is kind of where we're headed. And they're like, that's not us, that's county. But I can at least share with you what we're thinking. And so you guys can kind of have an idea and if that would help in anything, because we'll
Okay.
close this week, so it'll become ours. But I'll just reach out once it's official, then that way you can, if that will help you guys to talk to county too, knowing what we're wanting to do, see if that would be in line with what the city would want also.
absolutely. Thanks, Angel. Yeah, reach out and we'll start from there.
Okay, thank you.
That it? All right,
I see Abby on. Abby hasn't been on. Abby, did you need anything or before we adjourn? Okay.
all right, motion for to adjourn.
Need a motion from Abby?
I'll
Okay.
make a motion, it's Angel, or a second.
Abby's first.
Abby's second. Just take a vote on it. We're good.
All right. All
in favor?
four, oh, when you say that.
All in favor?
All in
There we go.
favor.
All right, there we
All
go.
right, great.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.